live, right?
Yes.
I can't visually see it, but I'm assuming we are live. We just had, that was one of our better meltdowns for a second. Like mental meltdowns. There's no yelling, no screaming.
For us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was more just like, why is this happening? And it relates to the age-old trick of maybe sometimes you just have to turn it off and turn it back on again.
Which it probably, what would you say, took us 10 minutes to test that theory?
Yes.
Yeah. Because typically in today's world, like that's old technology, don't you think? Like old technology is turn it on and off. New technology, that shouldn't be the answer to the problem. This is new technology.
Yes.
You know, I don't like that. Like we're looking through all these settings that we've never touched before. We didn't do anything differently really. So it's, that was mini meltdown.
We'll set the table. So we were about to do the producer show because we weren't going to, but then Mike Montante called us in a panic. We were always planning on doing the producer show.
Yeah.
But Montante calls us up around like 10:40. He's like, where's the producer show?
Right.
Where is it?
Right.
And we're like,
he's on a drive. Obviously he needs the producer show. We get it. And we were prepping our topics as soon as he called us, which was nice. Yeah.
And so anyway, so we made sure, then we were like, well, now we definitely have to do one.
Yeah, you got to do it. And should we just deny it now? Because I saw you just tweeted this. We're not going anywhere. Because I know people were scared. Montante's going to put rumors out there. We are loyal to one network and one network alone, and that is the Kirk Minifan Show YouTube channel. That's where we stay. The producer show we will never go anywhere else. Spotify could call and offer us the Alex Cooper deal. Justin, we're not leaving.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to kind of...
Come on, where people are testing your loyalty lately, just say yes. That's all you need to say.
I don't know. Spotify offers me, what was it, $60 million for 3 years?
Yeah, I think she got 60. And then what is
with inflation? I don't know. If it's $70 million over 3 years, we might have to have a chit chat.
Right. What did Sirius offer her again? She couldn't have made the same amount of money the next day. I don't know. Maybe she did. Whatever. But we are here, producer show, after our mini meltdown. But it's all right. We're back. It was just like Justin said. It was just power on, power off. Busy couple days here. Sounds terrible. Don't you? You're not getting me on that. We literally just did the test after the meltdown, so you're not going to get me on that.
I gotta look.
Just look just in case, because it's definitely possible after. It's definitely possible that maybe it's all fucking up.
Sounds fine.
Yeah, it sounds fine. You almost got me there. I pulled that trick to my nephew the other day, Justin.
What, you told him that his show sounds terrible?
He was live on YouTube by him, just talking only to basically us, me and my family. So we were the only one person in the chat, and I just went in there. I go, your microphone's off. And he looks and he's like looking all around saying, I'm like, we can't hear you. Do you want, like, call me, I'll help you or whatever. And yeah, it was, obviously for a seventh grader, that was a jarring experience for him, but it was funny for the family. He was live streaming the Red Sox game. Like he was just kind of his analysis. He was just kind of like talking as if he was doing play-by-play, except he wasn't really doing play-by-play.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's taking off. So yeah, so we got him on that one. But you're not going to get us here. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry. All right, busy couple days here. Obviously, the mini golf thing was probably the biggest thing. They've been teasing Definitely been talking about that for months. What it feels like, and that transpired last night. If you didn't watch, I am going to spoil it in 2 seconds. So cover your ears if you have not seen it yet. But unfortunately, I'm going to say Team Jeff D. Lowe beat Team Kirk.
Was it Team Jeff D. Lowe?
But that's the question we're about to pose now, isn't it, Justin?
Yes.
Was it really Team Jeff D. Lowe? Because there wasn't a lot of Jeff D. Lowe in this mini golf tournament. There just wasn't. It was the Dave Portnoy and Kirk Minifan show, if you ask me.
Yes, absolutely. I looked at that as this was kind of like a add-on to Surviving Barstool. Like this was definitely Dave's team.
Yep.
At one point, I believe even Barstool tweeted out Rig score or Beef scores a point for Dave, and it's like, well, technically, no, but yes. The whole thing was just it was a blast watching it, and I think this is, even though Kirk lost, put up a great fight.
Oh,
and that's why you need Kirk Minifan at these events. That's why you need Kirk to be the captain. He gets into it. You could tell he was willing to die for these guys. You saw Trent tweeting out that
he bought lunch.
He bought lunch for him. Casey's tweeting out that she's Team Kirk. There was a whole lot of and Kirk's really the only person that's really willing to, other than Ryan Whitney, but Whitney was on Dave's team, that is willing to call Dave out for his bullshit when it happens.
Right. Yeah. No, that was leadership, what you guys saw. I mean, Kirk he dominated the entire mini golf tournament from a FaceTime perspective, because if he wasn't actually playing, he was supporting his team. Each and every one of them, he was there. Look at even just the hug between him and Meek Phil.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, talk about team camaraderie. I mean, just top to bottom, this is a Kirk Minifan show production. That's how you lead a golf squad right there. And Jeff DeWall, like we were saying, I just didn't see that out of him.
No.
Just calling a spade a spade.
I saw at one point at the end there when they were redoing the last hole between Casey and KB.
Yep.
Dave was fiery. Kirk was fiery. And then Kirk literally goes like, you're not even the captain. She turns to Jeff and he's like, is this what you want? Is this fine with you? And Jeff's like, well, okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, Jeff he drafted well, obviously. They came out with the W. But I think if this was like a dozen style thing where you also get captain of the year, I think it would be hard to say that Kirk was up there, was not the better captain.
A 1,000,000%. That match, just going back specifically to the mini golf, the match between him and Frankie was a fantastic watch. Frankie hit.
Oh, it was great.
Kirk is just first of all, so consistent and good at mini golf. Those two shots, though, just to be fair to Frankie, those two shots from the rock.
Oh, we're great.
We're just, I mean, you gotta congratulate the guy you're playing when he makes those two shots, just like Kirk's did, because those were phenomenal shots.
There was a point early on where Kirk was just standing there. He wasn't saying anything, and you could tell he was already in Frankie's head. And I have to give Frankie credit because he did not really show it. Other than, he showed it, in his emotions before the putt, but he was still putting great.
Right.
He was neck and neck with Kirk. They went all the way to hole 18. And Frankie had a lead for, the entire time, but, Kirk was able to fight back and win that match. But no, I thought it was going to end up very badly because Frankie is the kind of guy where we've seen before with, the Ryder Cup and things like that where, Dave can get in his head, Kirk can get in his head, these big...
There's a certain amount of people that are going to bring kind of that competitive spirit, get fired up. Obviously, we mentioned Dave, we mentioned Ryan Whitney. Frankie Borelli is always going to be fired up for a competition like that. Riggs is always going to be fired up for a competition like that. There were some people, almost like the alphas in the room just took control and you missed them. Was Big Cat a part of that? I mean, I'm not just shitting on it, but he wasn't real. I thought he was going to be one of those guys who was going to be in the competitive spirit. He really wasn't. I thought PFT was more so than he was. I'm trying to think of other people that just kind of faded a little bit into the background. I guess maybe it's a let the stars be stars type of situation.
Yeah, but also the people if everyone is at that level of screaming at each other, then nothing would get you need Kirk to kind of lead the charge. If everyone is on every single hole like that, just nothing would ever get done.
Yeah. Wow. Patrick Crowley in the chat. Jeff is the worst team captain in the history of sports. Wow. Is his take. Wow, Patrick Crowley. That is first of all, Jeff's a Minifan, so we don't, I don't want to talk bad upon him, but yes, was it a great leadership situation out of him? No, but I don't know. He also, didn't he go 0-3?
He did go 0-3.
He lost every match.
Yes.
Just didn't show up. Top to bottom. He owned it, by the way, in a tweet.
He did.
He owned it. So, but either way, if you haven't watched it, do so. I thought it was a compelling watch. I thought it was funny as hell. It was enjoyable. Decent amount of fighting involved in it. The thing with Kirk.
Well, that's what you want. If it's just front to end, no controversy, no anything like that, then it's just a dumb mini golf tournament.
Right.
You need the barstool aspect of it, of the personalities going back and forth at each other.
Yep.
That's what makes it great.
And by the way, I mean, I had some problems with the officiating in mini golf, but either way, they got the call right. When it came down to Kirk, they at first said that KB could reshoot because Kirk's foot
was on.
His foot was on the course. Luckily, about, what would you say, 35 minutes later? It was at least 30 minutes later.
Oh,
they called that back. So, the key to all this stuff, and whether it be the NFL or whether it be Barstool Mini Golf, the replay should always get the call right. And good for Hank. He got the call right. That's what matters most. So, any other takeaways? Let's see.
It's a tough spot for Hank, too, having to, go against Dave.
Yeah.
But...
Well, no, but I mean, I think he took control where he needed to take control.
No, he's a good mini golf commissioner.
Yep.
I'm excited for
great course, by the way.
I do wonder if next year, if they're going to keep the Ryder Cup style of teams, or if they're going to go back to solos, or what it was. I personally think that this was much more entertaining than last year. I mean, last year,
torn on that one. I think that's a debatable question.
Well, because this one, the Meek Phil hole counted just as much as the like Kirk versus Frankie hole.
Yeah.
So you're paying attention to that. Meanwhile, it's like if it was, round 4 or whatever, and you got the 3 leaders, who gives a shit about anyone else on there?
Right.
You just have the 3 leaders going.
I just I do like the team aspect. It's just, they're both different, right? But I would have liked to see, because I thought Kirk brought his A game to this competition. If it was a solo competition, I think he comes away with the win on this one. So I like those situations. He can't, what did Giselle say? You can't throw and catch at the same time.
Yeah, but no, don't say that. Kirk was every step of the way. He would take accountability for all of his guys. I do think that's why he wanted to go first in the round yesterday, because he wanted to get his match over with so he could kind of coach and help out the rest of the team the rest of the way.
I agree. So to wrap it all up, obviously, like we said, Team Kirk lost to Team Jeff D. Lowe, but great watch. If you haven't, go watch it.
I do think we have not necessarily a new character, but I do think that there is something there between Meek Phil and Kirk Minifan. They seem to have a great rapport going back and forth.
Yep, big hug.
Big hug. Great to see Meek make those shots. Meek, was only there because he was the worst in the qualifying match in New York City, and he won 2 matches. Yep. So honestly, like I said, those 2 matches counted just as much as Kirk's 2 matches, and Kirk would tell you that. Yep. So it was great.
Yep. Top to bottom, great production overall, enjoyable watch. We were going into it because we didn't have any information. I don't know if you guys out there, if they announced it anywhere and we missed it. I was going into that thinking it was a 3:30 start. I enjoyed the fact that it was after the Masters for everybody. For the most part, I think the Masters are still going on a little bit. But what was it, like a 6:15-ish type of start?
Yeah, they said 6:30, but it started.
I think it started a little early.
Yes,
and it went long too.
Because it went down to the wire.
Yeah,
like John Gruden was the last one up, and he had to. I think he had played him until hole 16.
Yep. So it was great watch. Go watch it if you haven't. Like I keep saying. Besides any last minute takeaways on that we missed, or any, I mean, obviously there was so much coverage, we probably missed a bunch of different things, but overall,
Nick and Connor, I think, were very funny together.
They were.
It was very humorous. At one point, they were farting a lot, and I was laughing quite a bit. I was laughing at the farts.
They were funny, so I enjoyed that as well. We can go on now to Unnamed, which I would actually say my biggest takeaway from the Unnamed show might involve Justin Trudell to some extent, where, I mean, it involves anybody who's ever worked for Kirk Minifan, but Ryan Whitney basically kind of saying making a jab at
Whitney
Kirk.
And Dave. People gave maybe some shit, but this was like Dave.
The predictable line that Kirk is a tough boss, because Kirk brought up the Mikey Betts and Frank the Tank stuff, and Whitney chimes back in, oh, well, your guys would kind of think you're a tough boss. And to Kirk's point, either people have left and come back, or people stay in the world. You go on there, and people in the challenges call like it's out there. People saying you're arm waving to send that tweet out that you sent yesterday. I don't think so. You're just defending, you're just telling it like it is.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like the only people who can say, Kirk is a bad boss or anything like that are the people who have worked for Kirk. And if you're not, and people who have worked for Kirk won't say that. So it's one of those things where it's like on the outside.
Well, I don't agree with that in the sense of I think that you can judge somebody as being a bad boss. So I
guess, but also
I think our opinion should probably be elevated versus the people giving opinions. But if you witness things, that's what we criticize people every day on the show. Like that's a job. Things that we are not necessarily a part of.
Yes, but don't speak. My thing was because in that moment I felt like Whitney was trying to speak for me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if I have a problem with Kirk, I would say it.
Yes.
So it's just one of those things. I see people calling me a pussy or whatever, saying I'm arm weight. I don't understand that, but
no, I think you were just defending it. And the point is, we've talked about this on the show. This is not the first time this has ever come up. So yes, I was not a part of the show, and then I came back to the show. Coleman is still part of the world, and to be completely honest with you, eventually he's gonna get his way, and he's gonna get payback on Justin, and he will get back in the booth, and hopefully I'm there for it as well, because it'd be a dynamic duo if you ask me.
I would love that.
Yeah, so he's still in this world. So I think either way.
Coleman did have a nice tweet yesterday.
He did.
Also backing up Kirk.
100%. So all good. I'm trying to think of any other. There's a bunch of different unnamed stuff that the Minifan world I think will like. That Mutt story about the fantasy baseball.
It really is become
Mutt, don't trust anybody. I'm so I know it's fun in the chats and don't trust anybody. All right. Stone Cold Steve Austin used to say that. DTA. Don't trust anybody.
It is great that the Unnamed show has been like, well, let's get to the Mutt segment. I remember there was a time a couple months ago when I kept putting Mutt stuff on the sheet, and Portner was like, who keeps putting like the Mutt Shander stuff on here? And now it's like, it's not even on there.
Yeah.
And Portner was like, just bring it up.
It's being brought up. Yeah.
It's great. And they did talk about a little bit. So we should explain the story. If you go watch Unnamed, there was a funny Mutt story. They explained it better than me. But so there's a Minifan baseball, fantasy baseball league, and it's $100 to play. And Mutt sent $100 to the commissioner through PayPal. But instead of saying like, oh, it's for fantasy football or it's for gambling or whatever, he put like Rob Bradford's 5K. So in case anyone saw that, they would be like, oh, that's just good old Mutt donating to the 5K.
Right.
It's him covering his tracks. Yes. It was just very funny.
Yes. That was a funny portion of Unnamed yesterday. And obviously like just the speculation that Mutt has probably pulled that, year round for other things that he doesn't want his wife to see him do. But Ryan Whitney, by the way, who pushes Mutt, besides Kirk, who actually puts Mutt in the positions to potentially get, offers from Barstool and things like that. Ryan Whitney wants to see that happen bad, it seems like. He brings that up all the time. Is there still a chance? Is there still a chance?
Yeah, and I don't know. Dave said no.
Yep.
He's like, no, but like, I don't know. He's constantly on Dave's mind. So.
Yeah, I think, though, if Dave was going to the Derby, I think he would have invited Mutt on the show yesterday.
But here's the thing. Yeah, he would have invited Mutt, but would Mutt have gone? It's like a coin flip.
That's a whole different question. Yeah, that's a whole different question. But besides that, Unnamed, there was another Kirk show. Oh, they talked about the Twitch stuff with Chris Clemmer, which is just...
Yes, that was funny.
I wonder who those sources are, because the Twitch information is just mean.
I will say...
Just mean.
The Orlando Magic seems to be a YouTube first show. He reads the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
But it is funny that I think he
averages
0.3. Yes, he averages a third of a person.
Yeah.
Less than a third of a person.
Did I see on I didn't watch anything, but did I see yesterday that Chris Clemmer got KG? KG is part of the Magic now?
Oh, I wasn't able to watch it.
Okay, I saw a tweet that I think Kevin Garnett is on the Magic
now. I don't... Is it kind of like shitty that like he knows what players are going to pan out from the draft?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Kind of.
Like what I'm like what I'm saying is
like you don't want it to turn into an outlandish thing where like when we were playing video games and you're like the all-star team.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, no, it kind of is that now. But what I'm saying is like if let's say I'm doing the 1999 Patriots, okay?
Yep.
And I win the Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe, and then the 2000 draft comes along. Do I pick Tom Brady #1 overall because I know what he's going to be, or is it kind of like a crapshoot where like Tom Brady's potential is what it was in 2000, which is not nearly what he became?
Yes, that's a fair point. That's a fair argument. I would assume. Rhett Winter in our chat is saying that the chat turned him in yesterday. Is that because of this? That's a very fair point. Obviously you got Shaq and you got Grant Hill and stuff. That makes sense. But then to take new players and that are going to pan out, to your point, seems bullshit to me. I'm with you on this one. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it just seems like a cheat code. Where it's like I understand you get the #1 overall pick, you get Shaq, who was the #1 overall pick and lived up to it.
Yep.
But like, would you take Kobe #1 overall? Because I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's a good point. So, hey, I want to do a quick thing. Yesterday, I mean, obviously the Masters are going on. Kirk has got to be paying a lot of attention, and he actually called this, and we'll talk about chasing greens in a second. But Fred Couples tied for 14th, I think, right?
Yes.
Holy shit!
Believe he is 1 under right now.
How old is Fred Couples?
Let me see.
Would he be the? I feel like I heard if it was them or somebody else. Would he be the oldest
65.
person to make the cut or no? Let me see. This I heard this somewhere that I can't remember where I heard it though.
Oldest person to make the cut. Oh, the oldest player to make the cut at the Masters is Fred Couples.
Okay.
So he would beat his record.
Oh, okay.
By
a year, obviously. Oh wait, not year. No, 2 years.
2 years.
It was 2 years ago, right? Yeah, it was 2 years.
That's nuts.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And like obviously like
I think Kirk was saying, I think I heard he's still hitting the ball like 300 yards, which is fucking nuts.
That's I'm not a golf guy, but
yeah.
But I like to check where Freddie is.
I didn't really watch. I mean, I saw some of the highlights. I just saw Rory hit it into the water, stuff like that. I didn't watch any of the Masters yesterday, though. I didn't see anything. Picks up, obviously, on the weekend. But
there was the Chasing Greens released Wednesday night.
Yep.
I saw a lot of comments.
We were in a panic.
Oh, we were
in a panic. I'm in a hockey rink with no service with my backpack, waiting for files and all this stuff, and I think they recorded it before mini golf,
right before the round kicked off for mini golf. But then the problem was that all the producers went and then did mini golf stuff.
Yes,
so that they didn't send it over until after.
Well, we're speculating, right? We don't have that information as fact. Well, in a perfect world, you get those files, and they're just like, okay, let me Dropbox those over. Goodbye. Like they walk away, and it's in the cloud at that point, or they wait out because mini golf was still going on, right? Or was mini golf off by the time we got them?
It would just ended.
It just ended. So yeah, I mean, your speculation is probably valid, but also the files, even though it's only 25 minutes, those video files are fucking huge. So if they had shitty internet or something like that, it could have. But either way, we were panicking. I think we still managed once we actually got the files. What would you say? Hour 15? What would you say? Like to put it all together?
Yeah, just about
almost.
And like I think
we just were upset that we made the executive decision like not to cut cameras and stuff like that because it just would have eaten up so much time.
And it was already going up at 8:30.
Right, you have to literally watch all 25 minutes to cut the cameras. That probably would have doubled, or it probably would have doubled the output time of it, unfortunately. So
I think you said should we wait until after the second round to premiere, and I was like, I just want to get this fucking thing up there.
Right.
Like it was just like but that seemed to people.
Oh, wait till after the mini golf.
Yes,
till that was done.
But people seem to really enjoy it. It has like 10,000 views on YouTube, and I like the back and forth between.
Well, like they said, I mean, they gave winners out for the players, so you got to obviously follow that. You got if you got winners from the players, you got to be watching Chasing Greens to get winners. This one, I think Kirk picked Sepp Straka to win it all. Right, that was his. He kind of was. Obviously, he was saying that as a long shot. I think Sepp struggled big time yesterday. I think if I heard that right. I'm pretty sure. And then what's his name picked Rory, right? Riggs picked Rory, who he was 4 under, and I think that he hit it in the water, and I think he's 2 under at this moment. So
he's down there.
Yeah, I think he struggled yesterday. That's all right. I think one of his things was top Canadian. Corey Connors is doing really well right now, I believe. So a bunch of good picks. Again, like I said with mini golf, the beauty of the internet, if you haven't seen it yet, you still got time. The picks are still valid. I think only the only one obviously that didn't apply was one of the ones that Riggs did. That was what do you call it? Like for a Thursday only type of pick for the grouping or whatever. But it's still out there on YouTube. Go watch it.
He's tied 77th right now.
Tied for 77.
I believe he's 5 above.
5, yeah. I think I saw speculation that the cut line would be maybe like +3. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm just completely pulling that out of thin air. I was listening to Masters Radio driving in. That's about it. I don't know much about it. I have seen some people alluding to it in the chat. I've seen these spaces going on, whether it was Kane 2 nights ago or whether I don't know who did it last night. Like you randomly see it, and I don't like the non-archive thing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand everyone can do what they want, but like if you're doing it, you want people to listen and watch. So why can't we then go back and listen or watch? I just don't love that aspect of spaces. But the 2 nights ago I popped in and Kane was legitimately losing his mind.
Yeah, he was losing his mind. So we mentioned on the producer show last time that, some guy, Drew Ban, was making jokes about his brother, saying like the wrong brother got ALS, saying his last name. Kane said something about his son. We said that was shitty. Apparently, now this is where it's like, this is somehow like below and above us. I don't really know how deep we should get into this. Apparently there's some chats that have been going after Kane, posting pictures of his kids. Obviously that's shitty. That's not great. People who are doing that or who are doxing him or going after his family, obviously that's not right. My only advice to Kane would be that whatever your reaction is, the bigger the reaction is what these people want when they're trolling you, when they're posting these pictures. They want you to go on the spaces and freak out like you did last night. I heard some things. I don't want to play it here, but it's just like I heard him talking about how his son was pictured, how he felt his son was violated. My only advice to that is, Kane, if these things are happening to you, the correct thing to do is not go on spaces and talk about how wrong this is and how fucked up these people are. I legitimately mean this like in a nice way. Like leave. Like dude. Like if these are legitimately affecting your real life, don't be involved in this anymore.
Sure. And I don't know. Like I said, I jumped in at moments where if I went into that and had no information about this Kane and didn't even know anything about the Drew situation, I would have been like, holy shit, Kane is completely off his rocker. But sometimes he accentuates things for entertainment purposes. Just have,
I guess.
This one didn't seem like that, but I just don't have enough information.
But I will say, if he's now doing, I don't even know that word, accentuating.
Yep. Accentuating.
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 Wait, now you fucked me up.
I don't know how to.
Accentuating.
If he's doing that for.
What was the word porno I kept getting wrong yesterday?
He said something.
That was just funny.
If he's doing that for entertainment purposes, like just don't, because that only is going to feed into them more. Like they're not going to stop. Legitimately,
life advice with Justin Trudeau.
If this is too much for you, it's fine. Like you don't have to stick around.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that like in a like great like, and I'm trying to help you out here.
Yep.
But if they're going after your children or something like that, like they're not going to stop if you go on a Spaces and scream about how fucked up it is and how you're going to get revenge.
Use it in a sentence again.
Insinuate?
No, use the sentence you were saying. Because Kevin from Bristol now says I know what insinuating is, but I don't think you were saying accentuating.
You said accentuate.
So now you're saying insinuating?
No, you said accentuate.
Use it in the sentence that you were talking about.
I don't even, you used it. That's why I used it again.
Now accentuating is like fucked up in my head where
Yes, and I see people saying Kane's posted pictures of kids. I don't know. I don't.
Let's go with Can we go with insinuating and pretend this conversation never happened?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I just don't have all the context of the situation. I tune in and all of a sudden it's Tommy Quinlan is the mediator, who's doing kind of a fine job, but Kane wasn't really having it. And then I don't know. And then 2 nights later, I'm getting DMs that like he's talking shit about us and other people, and I don't care about that. I'm all for that. Somebody in the chat just said they recorded some of it, but they don't want it recorded. That my thing is just like, if it's about this world, I feel like it should just be available publicly, but whatever. I don't know.
They're happening at like 1 a.m. I mean, Menner said tonight.
I'm a sleepy guy.
He's doing a Menner's live Spaces that's going to be live on YouTube as well. So it's going to be recorded, but it's not until 11 p.m.
Yep.
I don't know.
Bringing back Minifandom because no MNS this week. That's a classy move by Menners. Ted was fantastic,
Ted
as
was
always.
It's always good to hear from Ted.
Yeah, as always. And you said Menner's Live is tonight?
Yes, I believe he tweeted out that it's tonight at like 11.
Norman, don't do this to me. Accentuating. So I'm with accentuating. That's spelling. ACC, yes. But I think he meant, did you mean insinuating?
See, people are saying Kane brought up your bosses. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, don't do that. Yeah,
I'm not trying to make him
the victim. Why?
I'm not trying to make him the victim. I'm just telling him to like just fucking stop and just leave. If like this is what this world has come to.
Exaggerated. No, why does it have to get to that point? I hate it. And I think I tuned in and Kane was like, my kid accidentally walked across the screen. Okay. Don't take screenshots of another person's kid just because that accidentally happened. Like Chase has done that before. Like you don't have to be a cunt and do that. That's just cunty.
I guess, but also Kane, like then take your kid out of the room.
I know, but it sucks. You can't control it sometimes. Like it's my kid's 5 years old and I'm downstairs. Yeah,
frustrating that there's these fights going on that
you're worked up about this, huh?
Because I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know. Just let Kane figure it. Like Kane, all you can do is tell people not to be assholes, and then let the other people figure it out themselves. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So, all right. In terms of Minifan related topics, I think we hit most of them. Justin, did we miss anything from a Minifan world?
Not really. You had that tweet yesterday that went kind of semi-viral in the Karen Reed verse.
Oh yeah, I took some shit about that. First of all, I can't speak and I don't really know what I type. My only real point on that was, if you didn't see it, Karen Reed is quoted in this Vanity Fair article. If you're interested in the chat, anybody. If you're not, you're not. But she's quoted in it basically being like, basically referencing OJ's trial. And my only point on the tweet was probably not the best idea to be quoted in Vanity Fair referencing OJ, which involves a murder, during your murder trial. It's going to be used against you. That's it. And when I said tape your mouth shut, I wasn't trying to be like sketchy or whatever, and write the word ARCA. I actually meant ARCA because that's her best defense for her case, in my opinion. But other people, Kim, get out of here. I talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about.
What is ARCA?
But ARCA is an organization who the federal government hired to say whether or not the injuries that the deceased occurred could have happened from a vehicle. And the FBI hires some pretty smart motherfuckers. And even if I've always used this defense. I don't give a fuck if they're biased. I don't give a fuck who paid them, whatever. All I know is they're the smartest fucking guys that were a part of that trial, and they said she didn't do it. So in my opinion, if I thought that they were the best witnesses in the case, and I trust them the most, so that was my point, was like, don't talk about anything during this anymore, except for Arca if you're going to fucking talk because you're addicted to talking out there. That was my only point. The OJ thing is just wild. Anybody out there defending that she should ever be addressing OJ while she's on trial for murder, I get it. You support her, so you just want to defend her at every fucking turn, but holy fuck shit. No fucking way should you ever do that. Just never reference it. That was my tweet. So even Turtle Boy was agreeing with me on that one. So everybody who doesn't, whatever. But yeah, it caused some stir, but I think it was more 50-50. Most people were like, yeah, you should not reference OJ. That's probably not
I can't wait for this trial to be over. Hopefully this is the last trial.
Well, not really, because you were never really into it. So what do you care?
Well, the only reason you see.
Yeah, but you only see it because of like peripheral shit with us.
Yes,
right?
and
like,
also
it doesn't really come up that much on the show.
Yes, but I also have like people in my
life that are into
life that are just into it too, and I'm just like, I don't care.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's legitimately everywhere. But we've talked about on the producer show just casually with stuff going on.
Tape with Writing on It is 2010. I think there was some. I remember in my high school or something.
Say that again. What was it?
Someone in the comments said Tape with Writing on It is so 2010.
Tape with writing on it.
Taping your mouth and then writing.
Yeah, people were like saying it was like I was almost being like abusive to women with that comment. Don't people sleep with tape on it? Like it helps sleep apnea and shit like that. It helps your breathing.
You're supposed to breathe out of your nose.
So you could say that I was like recommending.
Dave, what are you doing?
I was recommending something beneficial to. Like there's no way to take what I said wrong. So Dave, be honest. When eating steak out of her hand, did Karen Figures taste like? I can't comment on that. I can't. Dave, I had your back for overall sentiment, but that comment was wild, Coey. Thank you. I appreciate that. I can't get wrapped in it. Good job. Bobby Costa, do not. Just don't get wrapped up in it. Other takeaways that we were going to mention. Oh, the only thing I was going to say, because I don't know if you have a therapist appointment this week or next week, Joe Flacco signing with the Cleveland Browns just completely took out the Travis Hunter picture.
Yeah.
There's no trade that's going to happen. Travis Hunter will not be a Patriot, which is disappointing. Absolutely. That sucks. That would have been a great get.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too that there's not like, this is why Mayo fucked us in the fucking last game of the year, was that we're not going to be able to trade back because no one wants that number 4th overall pick.
Yep.
So we're just going to end up taking Will Campbell at 4, even though he probably should fall to somewhere in the 7th or 8th.
Right.
8 range, but it's whatever. I mean, if you hit.
There's and there's really no possibility like of trading up because Cleveland at that point doesn't need a quarterback at all. They're not going to draft a quarterback. Like anymore, they're not going to draft a quarterback number 2. And then what if they traded down? Yeah, it makes no sense. They have to get Hunter. It just makes no sense overall.
Yeah.
He's the best player. Yeah, he's the best player. I was just trying to do in my head, like, could they trade up or something? Cleveland's never going to trade that pick.
No.
So I don't know. It is what it is. But anything else you want to touch on before we go here?
Some stupid stuff. There was supposed to be a Taylor Swift cover band at Six Strings.
You were telling me about this
in Foxborough, but it unfortunately got canceled.
I wasn't going to criticize you for it, but when you said that to me yesterday, as we were leaving, my thing is, would you pay? You were about to pay good money for it.
Not good money. Like, what do you mean good money?
I would say, to me, a cover at a bar is $10 or less.
I paid like $25.
So I don't like that. That's good. You could get into $25. You can get into a major sporting event, a normal, sometimes
not around here, but sure.
No, and I know tickets for everything is inflated, but to me, the $25 mark is probably your entry point to a professional operation. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
I would never, a cover band, I would never pay more than $25. I don't think there's anything, not that I'm a big fan of cover bands. I don't think there's any that would ever like reach that level for me, I guess. So that Taylor Swift cover band, are they local or do they travel around the country?
I don't know. They got canceled. So
like $25 would mean they would have to travel around the country, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, I heard from sources that they were charging Six Strings like $10,000 to perform. So I would assume they had to be pretty good.
Yeah, that's excessive. Because there was a thing. Remember that Taylor Swift back to Canterbury Lake Park?
I saw
come
her.
up with the show.
You
saw her at Canterbury Lake Park.
Fantastic.
There was like Canterbury Lake was buzzing because of that performance alone, basically, or
yes.
that artist alone.
It was great.
But yeah, so you were going to go to that $25, and it got canceled on you tonight. Unfortunately,
yes.
Who'd they replace it with? Anything?
Just some other band.
David Maryland. Pollen levels must be extremely high in the New England area today. Pollen levels are at all-time bad right now. All-time. Yesterday was the most disturbing day of the season thus far. I don't even want to bring it up because then Montante might call, but it was disturbing what was going on yesterday. I'll just address it with that. But besides that, it is Friday. We will be back likely on Monday.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Do you ever get like sad about like something like you don't realize you're sentimental for until like it's gone?
I like where this is going. Yes. Yes.
So today, Bubba's getting a new shower put in, like a walk-in shower.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, it's kind of sad that he's had that shower his entire life. Like I remember like that.
Yeah, but he's upgrading.
Yes, he's upgrading, but also like when I lived there when I was like before I moved in with my parents when I was like 3 and 4, like that was a bath I took.
Yeah, but
it's sad.
Yeah, but it's not one. It's not disappearing forever. Like the.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but it's still the bathroom. It's still the bathroom, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not an object that's disappeared. He didn't sell something and you'll never see it again.
True.
He upgraded the bathroom, which I think is beneficial to you.
Oh, it definitely is. But
right?
It's just like, I don't know. It's just
Was it perfect though? Was the water pressure?
Oh, the water pressure was awesome.
I kind of get where you're going with that now.
So.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a moment. Now I'm trying to think in my head, what have I lost that has been sentimental to me, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So, alrighty. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We should be back on Monday for what is likely to be the last producer show.
Wow.
Of this
Spotify
this hiatus.
Serious, reach out.
That will not happen. At least for me. You can go if you want. If you want to go, and I'll bring Coleman. So Coleman can come over here.
Okay, I like that.
But there will be a last one on Monday, I assume. Wednesday, Kirk will be back. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And we'll go from there. All right? Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.